Hi there guys, welcome to Rogues Guild. My name is Joshua Patton. I will be doing a finance segment on here. Undecided yet whether or not we're going to do this once per week or once every other week. It'll kind of be up to you guys. If you guys like the information and you want it more frequently, let me know in the comments below. We're going to kind of use the comments on this video to shape our finance videos going forward, so just feel free to talk below, alright? So, my name is Joshua Patton. I have been in Force of Will now for 2.5 years. I have specialized more in the monetary side of Force of Will than in the competitive side up until recently. So, what I've been able to do is I've been able to buy boxes in bulk collections, and what I've offset all of my costs. So this year I've spent $3,400 on Force of Will, and I've received $3,400 in sales. So what that allows me to do is have a playset collection of all base rarity cards, allowing me to build whatever deck I want, go to whatever tournaments I want. I don't have to worry about scrapping for cards. And it has costed me essentially $0 to do it. I feel like Force of Will has the opportunity for you as players to offset some of your costs, and I want to be able to show you guys how to do that. So with the release of Strangers of New Valhalla, I wanted to go through the breakdown of the boxes for NDR for those that are not familiar, so that you know what to expect going forward. There was a couple key changes that they made that I want to discuss. First, they changed the distribution of the box itself when it comes to rarities that are inside of it. So with NDR, they asked on Facebook, they were like, hey, how do you buy Force of Will boxes? We said as a community, the most of us, that we buy 3 boxes at a time, and then we wheel and deal in singles for the rest of them. You know, we trade with friends, all that stuff, or whatever cards that we need. But for the most of us, we buy 3 boxes. So what they ended up doing was they ended up changing the distribution within the box so that you basically buy 3 boxes and you have your playset of all the cards that you need. I'll show you how that breaks down, because at the end of the day on the full arts, that actually causes an inverse rarity, which I'll show you guys. But yeah, so essentially the way that I look at NDR is it's almost kind of like a Vin Golf. If you buy 3 boxes, you're basically going to have a playset of everything. If you don't care full art or base rarity, you'll get a playset of everything with 3 boxes. So I'm going to show you the breakdown here. So what you're looking at here is you're looking at my personal boxes, what I was able to pull, plus what I was able to see on YouTube. This is a very accurate representation of what you would expect to see in a box. So in a box, you're going to see 4 full art super rares, 8 full art rares, 8 full art uncommons, and 16 full art commons. And then in every box you got 10 of the super rares. And in most of the boxes, it was actually 1 of each. Small variants there where you would sometimes double up on one and miss one, but for the most part it was 1 of each. So then in a booster pack you get the 6 commons, the 2 uncommons, the 1 rare slot, and then the 1 foil slot. So in that rare slot you have a mixture between super rares and rares. Since you had the 10 super rares, you only had 26 rares. 2 uncommons per pack, 36 packs, 72, 216 commons. So for me, what I do is I then kind of compare it on boxes. So this 10,000 boxes, that's a made-up number. I do not have the direct connections with Force of Will or any distributors. I do not know how many boxes that they printed. But what I do is I use this as a metric when I'm just comparing one rarity to another. So at the end of the day, this number doesn't matter. It's just a visual representation. As long as I keep that variable consistent as I change between these, then at the end of the day, the printed copies is the variance that I'm looking for. So if they printed 10,000 boxes, and if there are 4 full art super rares in every box, with 10 unique super rares that you can get, each full art super rare, there are 4,000 copies in circulation. Okay? So with this math, because there are 25 unique rares and 35 unique uncommons, we end up getting that inverse printing. So what I'm showing you here is that your full art uncommons are actually more rare than your full art super rares. In fact, your full art super rares are as rare as the full art commons. That is literally how this works. So when you're looking at TCG Player and you get kind of concerned when your full art uncommons are going for way more than your full art super rares. You shouldn't be concerned. You should just understand that this is how the model looks right now, based on this distribution per boxes. Okay? So, what this means? This means that if you have a full art uncommon that is playable, okay, you can expect to see that card go for over $10 a card. Current examples in NDR, Vivian. I just bought a bulk collection and I was going through it and I found 3 full art Vivians, and when I checked on CCG Player, it was currently in a stockout. So I listed mine for $9.99 and all 3 of them sold with the blue spoilers. Same for some other of the machine staples. So Merlin, the full art rare, I actually currently have him listed for $19.99, but he was also in a stockout. So there were 0 full art Merlins available. Same with the machine edition, the +1/+1 counters for machines when they come into the field. That is also in the uncommon slot. So as the machines become a deck as we go further into the cluster, and definitely after rotation, you can expect those cards to actually be very hard to get. So yeah, basically I just wanted to show you guys that as long as you understand what the rarities are going forward, it shouldn't shock you. At the end of the day, prices in this game are very cool in the sense that you can actually go base rarity for the most part and be cheap, except for a very, very big staples. Like Lorite 7 Disciples is kind of one of them right now that's going for a very high cost in the rare slot. But then funny enough, the Lorite in the super rare spot is actually cheaper. It's just because there's more in circulation. But we'll cover that once we get to the Rhea cluster. So right now I just want to show you NDR. I know all the money's in the Rhea cluster, and so look forward to those videos as we go forward. I would kind of like to use the end of the video to go over questions from the previous video in the comments. I'll answer anything that you guys have if I know the answer or if I think I have a theory for it. But right now I'll give you 3 tidbits of information when you're selling. So number 1, do not list more than the playable copies of a card, right? So what does that mean? In a main deck, for the most part, all your cards you can run 4 ofs, okay? Do not sell more than 4 copies of a card at a time. What ends up happening is, because the amount of flow in and out of TCG Player is very small for Forza Will, then what happens is if you list all of your stock at once, you can actually get caught up in a quick buy, and you'll be selling that card for really, really, really low. So if you have like 16 copies or so and you sell 4, and all of a sudden this card becomes meta relevant and everything, you don't want to lose your whole stock while it's on the uptick, because then maybe it raises a couple dollars in price, and now you're sitting without inventory because somebody came along and bought 16 copies of it or something along those lines. You know, and that's the other thing, you're selling to players. So players are not going to need more than 4 copies of a card. If they're buying more than 4 copies, odds are they're selling it. So really you're just giving them the opportunity to flip your card and make money. So keep your listings to playable copies. That means rulers are 1, that means stones, and all the rest of the cards are 4, except for the weird ones. Like if you can play multiple copies in a deck, go that route. Runes, I would probably do the same thing for the most part. Just basic runes. If you're selling a starter deck, make sure you're only listing 1 at a time. You know, I use staples, full arts of the souls. I'd list 1 at a time. At the end of the day, IU's not going to play more, and those souls don't go for more. Number two, I wanted to talk about the willpower rewards. So the willpower rewards, all of us VIPs, we received duplicates, and we were encouraged to share those with the community, you know, to sell them, stuff like that. There's a little bit of an uproar, you know, people feel cheated and all that stuff, but don't. At the end of the day, what the company did was they sent you cash, and I'm just going to show you how to make it cash, alright? So in the next video, I'll go into details about how I sell cards. And I'll show you specifically what products that I buy, and what my cost basis is on shipping, you know, on what tiers of cost that I actually ship one way versus another, whether I add tracking or not. And then yeah, on the willpower rewards, do not sell them yet. Currently The not VIPs haven't received their promos yet that I'm aware of. I'm filming this Friday, December 21st at 9:30 in the morning. If they have not received their promos yet, then essentially what you're talking about is you're talking about everybody from A to G, whatever. That's a huge market. That's basically who's going to want these cards, right? When they receive theirs, they're going to be missing some, okay? And they're going to want to either get up to the ones that they're missing, or they're going to want to sell theirs and get the ones that they actually want, and then you'll get a real idea of what the market is right now. At this point, everybody that is currently on the market is just selling theirs for a number, right? They're just like, I just want to offload it real quick, go low, right? That gives the buyer the power, okay? And so right now, I would recommend just sitting on it, wait till everybody gets their promos, then come out with it. Right now, we're dealing with a starter deck shortage, so the demand for these rulers is going to be high. The alternate art of these rulers is just gorgeous anyway, so there's going to be demand in those. So don't rush to sell your stuff. If you see somebody on like the Force of Will marketplace that is listing a wants, like I want the willpower rewards, I'm not saying stray away from those. At that point, the buyer is reaching out to you, so you as the seller have the power, okay? So just, that's something I want you guys to be aware of. Third, final bit, we had Orlando, okay? In finance, when Trump was elected as president, my retirement bumped quite a bit. We had a huge spike in the market, and everybody was calling it the Trump bump because everybody was anticipating all these great business things that Trump was going to do. So like the market spiked, and so all of our retirement accounts, they got a nice little boost, right? Ryan Miles does the exact same thing. When he goes to a GP and he plays a deck and he plays cards, then those cards become relevant. So one of the things that I want you guys to be aware of when it comes to stipulation is this guy. This guy is actually a really good card. Currently selling for maybe $1 or $2 full art variant, or the full art style. I have mine listed for $6 because I'm expecting a stock out of this card. At the end of the day, what Ryan was able to do was he was able to show us that this, with the Whispers, was kind of an awesome approaching the truth, plus life gain, plus tempo. Like, he just showed us that was awesome. You compare it with Elemental Blast to basically get the torrent off of it, and then the spoilers just came out. Guess who's gonna be able to do table flips pretty flippin' easy? This guy, okay? This is going to be, I'm kind of making it on a little prediction right now. This is going to be the next stockout card, okay? So if you're looking to get it now. If you have some for sale, sit on it, watch what happens. I promise. Alright guys, let me know in the comments below how I did, what you would like to see, what you would like for me to talk about. I appreciate your guys' time, and I look forward to doing this, alright? Welcome to the Rogues Guild.